guy called Rob. I've been trying to think up like an embarrassing story to tell about George. There's just too many of them, and I'm getting confused. I first met George, I had maybe about 60 days clean, and I'm sitting in the room waiting for the meeting to start, and right at the last second, this guy walks in, and he's got like these knee-high laced-up boots on. He's got a knife that goes down to his knee and like some sort of skin hanging from the other side. And didn't necessarily smell all that pleasant, but and I remember he didn't say anything, so I assumed he was a newcomer because it was 60 days. I wasn't a newcomer, but I shared something during the meeting about feeling different and stuff and not feeling like I belong there. And George come up to me and he comes up and he goes, "Fuck them, you paid for that seat." And sorry if the word offend you, but I really don't fucking care. I might get better. Several months later, I saw George at a convention, and I was talking to him, and he said something that just completely blew my mind. He goes, "I still use it, just don't use drugs." And that made absolutely no sense to me. And I remember thinking, like, well, maybe that guy will get better. And come to find out, I got better, And if you don't give George a chance to get to know him, you've done yourself an injustice. This man has traveled more than once, several hours, to come to my anniversary. And I get clean in the middle of winter, so, where we live, the roads aren't always the best, and he's still there. Now, one time he showed up a month late, but he was there on the 26th, but it was January 26th. But he cared enough to show up. And, I needed people to care enough to show up. And, if I have a question about a step or something about the basic text, I know that I can ask him, and he's going to know it, like point on every time. And, I'm glad that, that I've gotten to know George. And, when he asked me to do this, he said that he would be honored to have me introduce him. And I said, I'd be honored to introduce you. And then he started to get some tears in his eyes and made me promise I'd never tell anybody that. So, but George, I am grateful that I could look past the exterior and see what a great person was on the inside, and hopefully a bunch of people here today is going to get to see that too. So with that, I'll give you George.
That's why I'm here, to get the clap. No, I had to, I spent I'm an addict, George. That does sound good to me. I am an addict. And when they called me in a couple months back to share, I had this other addict with me. They called me during a meeting. My cell phone was off, so I called them back, and they said, "We want you to share a Sunday morning meeting." And I'm grateful they called it a Sunday morning meeting instead of a spiritual meeting, because I'm not spiritual. I thought. I'd like to thank the committee for either thank them or give my condolences right now for selecting me. And I was nervous till about 5 minutes before this thing started. And then my higher power got of my understanding, which can be a groovy old dude with tie-dye robe and long white beard. He walked me around and calmed me down. I heard some words that I needed to hear. And Thank you all for being here. You know, let me see if I can figure out which reading it is, but it says, it don't care where we came from, how much or how little we did or who we know. I'm going to try to leave personalities out of it. And recovery is when two or more addicts gather together to talk about, to share their experience, strength, and hope in recovery. In recovery. You know, if I offend somebody, I don't mean to, but if I do, call your sponsor workers debt. Then if you're not happy, call the world. You know, I got clean in Narcotics Anonymous. Narcotics Anonymous don't want to accept me for who I was, and they still do. You know, I was talking to people. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. You know, for the first couple years, well, about a year and a half in recovery, I carried a gun with me because I didn't know how not to dress without a gun strapped to my side. Then it gradually became that knife, which I used for, you know, I thought I was a badass. I'm going to cut your throat if you mess with me. But it was more or less because I was scared. It was for intimidation purposes. You know, then I graduated to a little pocket knife. You know, and that stays in my truck most of the time. And my truck's not here, so I don't have it. I'm lost. You know, when I got clean, my clean date's July 26, 1988. And when I walked in, and before I got clean, you know, I was a cross-dresser. And I don't mean I wore women's clothes. I meant that I went to a bunch of different fellowships, thinking that was my problem, not me. Narcotics Anonymous, or I found, or Narcotics Anonymous found me, and they says, I'm the problem. Everything's but a symptom. And that made sense to me. So if you go to more than one fellowship, keep coming back. You know, when I walked in here, I says, I don't need your steps, I don't need your traditions, I don't need nothing. I just want y'all to show me I have a good time without using. And thank God, I got clean in Baltimore City. Thank God there were some people that had leather jackets on and bikes parked out in the parking lot, because that's where I was at. I'm not there no more. Well, not all the time. But, you know, they adopted me. They adopted me and showed me I could have a good time without using. You know, dances, picnics, pool parties, motorcycle events, you know, clean, you know, and time went on, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing these people get these key tags for various amounts of clean time. You know, if I stutter, it's because I don't know how to speak English yet. I'm still trying to learn.
Great job, George.
You know, but I seen these people getting these key tags, you know, in 30 days, that's possible. On 1 year, I can do that. I can do a year. Multiple years, that son of a bitch is lying. Ain't no way I can stay clean more than 1 year. But we can, just for today. You know, we can do it. I can do it. We can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. You know, I don't want to point nobody, you know. The reason I shaved my head is because I wanted to be like my idol, Rob. You know, he's not getting my Harley because he didn't lie enough for me. You know, my motorcycle, I don't want to promote no brand of a motorcycle. You know, it's about recovery. And how do we recover? You know, anybody can stay clean. Just don't freaking use. You know, I found that out my first year. You know, how do I recover? And they told me this at the first year, in my first anniversary. I wanted that cake and the balloons and the pats on the back and all the glory that goes with 1 year. And You know, I got up there and said, I hate myself. Life sucks. You know, they said, work the steps or die. You know, MFer, I'm going to watch my language because I don't want anybody to give me the power to give me an excuse to use. And if you do use, because what I say, look at that son of a bitch that brought you in here. You know, don't give me that kind of power. I'm already a legend in my own mind. You know, I started working steps. They said, get a sponsor. I had a sponsor. You know, I had a sponsor all along. Even before I got clean, I had a sponsor. You know, but they told me that first year, I said, well, they asked me who my sponsor was. The sponsor I had was a company that I worked for that put their name on a motorcycle and paid me to race. That's all I knew about a sponsor. They said, no, a sponsor is a guide to 12 steps, 12 traditions of Narcotics Anonymous. That's it. You know, so I picked somebody who rode a motorcycle, wore a leather jacket, you know, and to guide me through the steps of Narcotics Anonymous. You know, they're not my steps. It's not my program. It's the steps of Narcotics Anonymous. It's the Narcotics Anonymous program. It belongs to all of us. It's not mine. It's all of ours. You know, you know, in a way, I hated being Sunday because I don't want, shit. I don't want to sound like I'm copying from other people. The last two speakers, which were great. But one thing I disagree with, and I tell my sponsees and people that I know, life still happens. It don't get better. I'm getting better. I'm able to handle life without this thing up here using, you know, or thinking. You know, I'm going to qualify myself. The reason I got clean is because I smoked a doobie and scratched a Mercedes. You know, it doesn't matter whether you smoked a doobie and scratched a Mercedes or killed somebody. You know, did some hard time. We have a desire. You know, when I was using, you know, I don't want to get into use because it's not about that. I wanted to die. I wanted to die because I hated myself. You know, what got me clean, I didn't care about the consequences. Hurting people, killing people. Hurting people, robbing bank. I shouldn't say that because I'm not going to share a fifth step with you. I'm going to do my best not to. It doesn't, but what got me clean, I love kids. You know, and I ran away from home when I was real young. You know, and I wanted to run away. And I didn't join a circus. I joined a carnival. You know, because we could stay stoned all the time and nobody knew it. Or nobody give a shit. I'm up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania on 24th of July, 1988. Stoned, running a kiddie ride. Girl lost 2 fingers because I wasn't paying attention. That got me clean. Today, when I can't stay clean for me, I stay clean for that little girl because I don't want that to happen to no child or nobody today. What keeps me clean, hey, I enjoy life today. You know, when I started working the steps in my life and I started getting better, you know, things still sucked. You know, 14 months clean, I broke my back, my neck, and my shoulders. You know, and I was mad at God, you know, because look what he did to me. He fucked me up. I lost my job, or I couldn't do construction no more. I couldn't gypsy with carnivals no more. I couldn't do this no more. You know, and somebody says, George, go back to school. My thing was, you know, and I quit college when I was using because it got in the way of my using. The teacher actually told me if partying gets in the way of my college, quit college. So I quit college. You know, when I went after my injuries and all that sort of healing, I could get back to function again. I went back to school. You know, not thinking I could do it, but they said, hey, you're clean, apply yourself, ask for help. You know, I've got an associate arts degree in accounting. And I'm like, wow. And I'm a farmer, you know. I don't need to account for nothing but what I do, you know. But I have that degree, and I found out after I had that degree, I can't work inside because I need to be outside. That's just me. When I was probably about 18 months clean, greatest experience in my recovery is when I got married, you know, because it taught me a lot. Don't marry, you know, and I'm going to spread this, I'm going to say this one thing and then y'all can think about it. Recovery is not sexually transmitted. I thought it was. You know, I was the kind of guy, some female going to show me attention. I'm in love, but I didn't know the difference between love and lust, you know. So I asked her to marry me. We only dated for like a week. I think it was like 60 days and we were married. No, I met her on Halloween and married her on Christmas. You know, because I can't do nothing gradual. I have to all or nothing. You know, and that was the best experience of my learning how to live. You know, I thought she could help me get better. She could make me the person I wanted to be. You know, after a few years, my injury started healing. I started getting better. I moved to the eastern shore of Maryland, you know, and she became my higher power, a power greater than me. She told me that if I use, she'll leave. And if I go to GD meetings, she'll leave. So when we moved, I didn't get no more meetings. The only thing I did perfect in the last 23, almost 24 years is I haven't used a drug. You know, it's 7.5 years clean. You know, I'm sitting in prison again. Well, I'm sitting in jail before prison sentence again. You know, and that was the first time I blamed me for it. I said, what did I do this time? Bingo, a light went off. You know, I quit Narcotics Anonymous. You know, it showed me right then and there that I'm the problem. And it ain't this thinking, it's the action that goes behind the thinking that's the problem. You know, I'm the problem. You know, how can, you know, and it said, what can we do to help you with your problem? Y'all can teach me how to recover. Y'all can teach me how to live life. You know, the divorce went final and all that good stuff. And I celebrated by trying to recover through that assimilation stuff. You know, time went on, I was getting happy, and, you know, I was thrust into a lonely position where I learned how to keep my mouth shut. No, it was North Central, what is that there? North Central West Virginia area. They unfortunately nominated me and elected me chair of the area. That taught me to keep my mouth shut, because up there, I love you too, but to not have an opinion, I should say, or to keep my opinions to myself, and that was the hardest thing I'd do. But during a break, I'd go out to voice my opinion, but during the meetings, during the area, I want to say circus, but it's not a circus, it's a service. It's, you know, and we're not slaves. They call us trusted servants, which is great. I was a twisted serpent. You know, I was really twisted. You know, and that's when I started growing. Not just staying clean, but growing. I worked a few steps here and there, and I'm like, well, I need, you know, I'm uncomfortable living in my own skin. You know, and the steps helped me clean up the inside of me. You know, I'm not going to tell you how to work the steps. That's up to you and your sponsor and your higher power, not me, because we all do things differently. You know, it's amazing, all these people. You know, 30 years ago, I used to be a public speaker. I had awards for being a public speaker. You know, and I was stoned. You know, and I'm like, and somebody told me, well, imagine them naked so I can get along with them. I'm like, I can't do that. Somebody's got to get some clothes on. You know, and somebody give me some words of inspiration. You know, I wasn't nervous till like 5 minutes before I had to speak. And then I got nervous. You know, why am I nervous? I don't know. I'm sitting in front of, you know, I'm not going to call none of your friends, because you ain't my family. I can call anybody, I call most of you, some of you, at 3 o'clock in the morning. Not all of you, some of you at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're there for me. You know, what proves that to me is when I was laying in the hospital with broken back for 6 months, my family came once. The woman I married came twice. Narcotics Anonymous was there every night. When I was in jail, Narcotics Anonymous brought meetings in for me. They brought them in for me. You know, that's H&I, which stands for Hospitals and Institutions, not high like I used to think it was. You know, today, you know, I made a few mistakes this weekend. You know, I let me get in my way. And I chewed this one guy out Friday night because I couldn't hear. And I chewed him out, not spiritually, with the way that Rob talks. I love you, Rob. You know, and I apologize. Not for chewing him out and telling him to shut his hole, but for the way I said it. Then last night, I got cramped. I mean, I got, and I asked this guy behind me to scoot up so I can get out, and he wouldn't. So I just slammed the chair into him and got up and realized I was wrong. I went back and apologized to him and the other people that I offended. You know, I used, drugs did not make me an addict. I used drugs because they were there and because I'm an addict. You know, like Rob says, I still use, but I don't use drugs. I use gambling, which I haven't done in a while. I use my play toys, which is my motorcycles, you know, to help me escape reality for that moment. You know, and another big lie I've heard, and I'm going to probably pee a lot of people off, you know, or excuse my language, piss a lot of people off. You know, that way you understand, you know I'm an addict. I can still use foul language. I'm trying to get out of it because I'm trying to become a responsible, productive member of society instead of an irresponsible, reproductive member of society. You know? You know, which that was fun for a while. You know, it can still be. Oh, shut up, George. You know, but it's great to be here today. You know, last night, me and my other half, I can't call her a better half, she's an equal. You know, we were going, okay, my better half. We decided to call out and get us a pizza. We went over and asked the people across the office. I'm not going to use your all's names. Is that okay? Where they got the pizza from? Can we get the number? Well, how many are you going to order? I said, 1. Well, come on, have pizza with us. So, you know, that's family. That's family. My immediate family is screwed up, you know. You know, I love the saying when I hear people, oh, I came from a dysfunctional family. Hell, I don't know if mine was dysfunctional or not, because I was there. It might not have been if I hadn't have been there, you know, but, you know, what I need to say is, if you don't use, you won't get high. If you don't die, and I hate the word old timer because I'm not old. And Narcotics Anonymous, we call it long time, a long time. You know, and my people aggravate me. Whoever got up there has got the most clean time. Bullshit. Because bottom line, if yesterday is gone and tomorrow ain't here, what about 5 minutes ago and 5 minutes from now? We all equal. We got right now. That's all we got is right now. You know, I might have a little more experience at staying clean, but somebody with less time than me might have more experience at going through shit that I ain't gone through yet. They can help me. And what taught me that's when I'm getting my divorce, you know, I went to my sponsor and I said, what do we do? He said, I've never been divorced clean, but I know somebody who has. I had like 9 years clean. This guy had like 2. I'm like, what can this my snot-nosed little brat tell me to do? You know, but he helped me through it. You know, it's about feelings. You know, if I don't talk about my feelings and how I feel, you know, I'm liable to act out on them. That's why I dump feelings. When you know, and I've done something different that blows my mind. I get out of the way of everything I'm getting into. That way I don't get into it. You know, wow. I'm amazed. 24,000 years of recovery last night. Clean time last night. You know, I'm just part of it. I'm not all of it. I'm not all that no more. I'm not a legend in my, well, I still am, but I'm not a legend in my mind no more. You know, and people are addicts. People, I'm going to say, because we're people. Or I am, sometimes. Help me realize that I'm just part of, you know. I am the problem, but I can be part of the solution. You know, Narcotics Anonymous holds his arms out and says, come on and join us. Be part of us. Be part of the world. You know, I've been fortunate. I've been able to travel all over the country, all over a lot of different places. You know, and it's not because I've done anything right. It's because Narcotics Anonymous has given me the opportunity to do them things. You know, when I got clean, you know, I had a shitload of money. You know, from it was dirty money from stuff I did. You know, and today, you know, I went out and bought me a Harley for my first anniversary. 2 months later, I break my back. I'm like, okay, it's cool. Today it was cool. Back then it pissed me off. You know, where I'm at today, you know, I'm scared to freaking death. You know, everybody says, hey, yeah, I'm okay now. But when I first got up here, he lied good for me. You know, the knife wasn't down to my knee, it was past my knee. And the hide I hanging on was dead. You know, I don't carry I don't carry live animals around today. I try not to carry live animals around today. You know, I live in the middle of nowhere. I'm an hour from my nearest meeting. I go to 4 or 5 meetings a week. I personally only need one, but I don't know which one I need. I don't need to clap no more. I had it. Yeah, I love you too, Benjamin. You know, where I'm at, I'm an hour to my nearest meeting, which gives me the opportunity. And what I love about this, you know, hour one way I'm in one area, hour the other way I'm in a different area, hour that way I'm in a different area, and a different region. Hour this way I'm in a different area. It's like 5 or 6 different areas and 3 different regions. It gives me the opportunity to reach out to let people know who I am. It's like Shannon said last night. We got to let people know who we are. You know, for the last 8 years, I've been going on this camping trip. You know, I'm not going to promote where I go because it's an outside issue. People there know I don't use. They know I'm cool. Or I might not be cool, but they know I don't use. You know, and 8 years ago, I found a hobby that I fell in love with at this, and I'm going to say a motorcycle event so y'all know where I'm coming from. It was, you know, I love demolition derbies, and I found demolition derbies on motorcycles. I'm like, yeah, that'll work. That'll work, you know. And through step work, I found out, and I found this out 12 years ago, I watched my dad die. It pissed me off because he died Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I was getting ready to leave Wednesday before Thanksgiving to go to a convention. And I feel bad about what I said or what I thought. That somebody died, so I can't leave. You know, that was selfish. That was core of my disease, self-centered, selfishness. You know, I stuck around, took care of all the arrangements, helped take care of the arrangements and stuff. And after his memorial, whatever it was, I took off. I said, I can't be here. You know, I found myself at one of my old sponsee's house, crying on it, and I don't like to admit that I cry, because men don't cry, it's bullshit. You know, and I found out that weekend, you know, and this through step work that I found this out. Why, when this shit happened, did I have to go get a bunch of tattoos? Most of my tattoos can't be seen. I ain't gonna show you. You know, I have a little bit of pride in who I am today. You know, but why did I get a bunch of tattoos? The physical pain overrode the emotional pain. I didn't have to deal with the emotional pain at the time. You know, the physical pain went away. I was getting more tattoos. And somebody in Narcotics Anonymous said, hey, George, why don't you work through the physical pain or the mental pain? Then if you're still stupid, get the physical pain. You know, that's the way they explained it to me. You know, and I'm like, okay. So I started working through the emotional pain and dealt with it. I guess about 9 years ago, a close female friend of mine died. I found myself sitting back in a tattoo shop. And they kicked me in the ass and said, what are you doing? Drugs is drugs is drugs is drugs. Pains are pains are pains. You know, my first thought in my mind was the tattoos didn't work. Maybe I'll try piercings. It's a different kind of pain. You know, and I'm like, okay, that'll work. But I was smart enough to get out of there before I end up with looking like I fell in a tackle box. If that offends you, I'm sorry. You know. I mean, I couldn't handle riding a motorcycle in the wintertime with the cold metal freeze my face up. Ugh. But it looks good on some people. Me, it wouldn't. You know, so I don't mean to offend you if you fell in a tackle box. Keep coming back. You know, I started working through the emotional pain again of what's going on. You know, the reason I found this thing with riding motorcycles and demolition derby. It wasn't because I wanted to feel pain. It's because I want to impress. I want to become a legend in their mind, not my mind. I was already one in my mind. And it was the two females. One was from Texas who did my tattoos, and one was from South Carolina who gave me some T-shirts. You know, I want to impress them. Maybe I would get lucky. Yeah, right. They said, "You're a fool." You know, and I have to look back. Why, when they made me put a helmet on, did I get pissed off? I still want to do things my way, but I can't. I have to do things the way my higher power wants me to. You know, my higher power, you know. I'm going to talk about the groovy old dude, G.O.D. Or when I first got clean, it was the great outdoors, because I love nature. I still have a God spot up. Oh, I got two God spots in the mountains. One I have to take my four-wheeler to, or the other one I take the motorcycle to because it's the hunting range. You know, and things I do for my recovery. You know, I work steps. I learn to be open-minded, open. Have this thing open. I can't say it right. Because we can't draft things to a closed mind. Draft, whatever the word is, a follow-educated word I can't pronounce. The basic text says, we don't use no matter what. I had a sponsor, he called me up a couple months back. "George, I'm getting high." I said, "Call me when you're clean." Click. Because we all know how to get high. I know how to get high. I don't know how to stay clean. I don't know how to recover from the disease of addiction without y'all's help. You know, they said, read the basic text. My sponsor says a text. Study that son of a bitch. He said, and there is a test. The test ain't it ain't a written test. It's how we present ourselves when we walk out into public. Right. You know, it took me quite a few years to put an NA sticker on the back of my truck because I didn't want to think everybody knew that Narcotics Anonymous, everybody drove like an asshole. Well, you know, I didn't drive like an a-hole. Just people that were doing the speed limit weren't going fast enough. You know, I was perfect. You know, and some people can relate to where I'm coming from, which is cool. If you can't, keep coming back. You know, I was at a meeting a couple years ago, you know, and this young girl was in there. It's old fart, and I'm going to say old fart. "You're too young to be alive." I'm saying, "You're too old to be alive." Because nobody's too young to get clean, and you're never too old to get clean. You know, if I offend anybody, oh well. You know, when I got clean, if you didn't have a Harley and leather jacket, I couldn't relate to you. I couldn't relate to somebody like me, or that had normal clothes on, or had regular clothes on. You know, I couldn't relate to somebody that was a different color. I wouldn't. I kept that closed mind. Sexuality, sexual preference, I wouldn't. But I got to thinking, hey, my higher power's not prejudiced or racist. My disease ain't prejudiced or racist. What makes me think I'm better than my disease or better than my higher power? I'm not. I'm just, somebody said like I love this terminology. I'm just a grain of sand on the beach. You know, and if I'm left like grain of sand, you know, by myself. And this is, I don't know where this is coming from, but it's coming. If you know, if I'm that grain of sand left by myself, I will get washed out in the ocean. But if we all get together, we can make a beach. You know, we need each other. We need each other. You know, we don't use no matter what. When my sponsor, who I have today, you know, tells me, hey, you got some clean time. I said, yeah. He's what? You want to work steps? Call me. Don't call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know who the hell she's with? You know, it's about step work. If I got a problem, he said, if you got something you can deal with other addicts, deal with them. Help them, have them help you. You know, my sponsor, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. You know, he lives out in Oklahoma. I wish he could be here, but he's not here. So I can talk about him because he's not here. You know, he's helped me a lot. You know, each and every one of you. And I'm going to use the word, and they might not like it, and I don't know where it's coming from, but the co-sponsor helps me through life and life's terms, teaching me how to act human when I'm acting like a using addict. You know, there's two kinds of addicts, and if it pisses you off, call your sponsor. There's two kinds of addicts, and I love y'all. All of you, or however you pronounce that word down here. All y'all, whatever y'all say. You know, there's two kinds of addicts, and they're sitting in this room. Those who are around Narcotics Anonymous. They show me what not to do. Those who are in Narcotics Anonymous show me what to do. And they can tell me, hey, George, everything will be okay. And I'm like, no, it won't. George, you'll be okay. I'm like, that might work. As long as I don't pick up today, I got a chance of living life on life's terms. You know, there's another thing I heard, and I haven't heard it at a convention for a long time. I don't think I ever heard of a convention. There's this addict. I'm going to use addict so I don't label nobody. Back home, who says, if it don't reply, let it fly. I can't do that. Because if I hear something that don't relate to me today, and I don't pay attention to it, it happens next week, where do I go get help at? Where do I go get guidance in the right direction? You know, I have to listen to everything that I hear. You know, I wish I had that guy's SpongeBob shirt on, because I liked that, man. That was cool. Absorb everything. You know, and I try to do that. I know my first convention here, I don't remember, because it was way back. And my first T-shirt from here was 92, I believe. But I started coming to... Oh, shit. I don't like the microphones. They screw me up. But I first started coming to convention on a regular basis in 2000. 12 years ago, this convention. I stayed up there with somebody who had a motorcycle and had a leather jacket. And I'm up there in that cabin, I forget which one it was. And they got a racetrack right over across the hill. And I'm hearing the racing. My mind said, let's get up and go over there and see what's going on. You know, he sat me down and says, George, let's just stay here today for this moment. Let's just stay here and see what happens. You know, and I love it. 12 years ago, I put an application in for a resume for a speaker, just for shits and giggles, just because I wanted that ego thing, you know. Damn, I got some power. I guess that's time for me to shut up. No, but I did it just to see what would happen, you know, and everybody been asking me to put one in. And I can't remember when I do it, when I don't do it, so I was told they've been in spring and fall. I guess, I don't remember, you know. I just do what I'm asked to do most of the time. Last year, November, I can't remember exactly what day it was. No, it was after Thanksgiving because it was hunting season. And that's how I relate to my seasons, how I hunt. You know, I come out of the woods at 12 o'clock on Saturday. And I leave my phone in my truck so I don't lose it or scare the critters away. You know, and my phone was ringing. I picked it up. We need you at the jail tonight. Nobody's showing up. I says, I'll be there without even thinking about it. And I missed the afternoon of hunting, which is okay because I carried the message into the jail. You know, one thing, and I'm going to say this before I think about shutting up. Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm just not doing it. You know, like Rob says, don't listen to the messenger. I might kill you. I might kill you. Listen to the message. It might save your freaking life. You know, when I got this call, speak here, this guy with me. Well, you can show your East Coast recovery. I got West Coast recovery. I'm like, I don't have East Coast recovery. I got Narcotics Anonymous recovery. Because I believe, I haven't read the literature on the West Coast in a few years, but I believe it's the same literature we got. I mean, it might be different, I don't know. You know, and I'm grateful. You know, I'm not grateful that they haven't done a workshop on this yet, or a learning day, but I'm grateful that I'm sick. But I'm not as sick as some of you because I only need one fellowship to keep me clean. Sorry. You know, we have to do what we have to do to stay clean. You know, if you need to go to wherever you need to go to, do it. You know, but I only need to work one set of steps, learn one set of traditions, because I was doing more, this little pea brain would get confused. You know, and what gets me is Narcotics Anonymous doesn't care what we did, who we did, how we did it, who we know. You know, people, Friday when I got here, somebody said, you nervous yet? I'm like, no, man, not until you said something. You know, I talked to, when they asked me, and I was talking to a friend of mine, he said, don't even think about it. So I try not to think about it all weekend. You know, I kept telling people I'm leaving, I'm not staying here. A friend of mine, you know, I think he's a friend of mine. He says he is, so I guess he is. He says, George, you came to Pennsylvania. I come from New York to hear you speak. I don't come from Pennsylvania, but I went to Pennsylvania to hear him speak at the convention. You know, he says, I come all the way down from New York to hear you speak. If you disappear, I know somebody's got some weapons. We can come look for you. No, it wasn't that bad. He said, I'm going to come get you. He said, oh, you know, and people, you know, I'm not nervous as much. You know, the only thing, and I told people, hey, I enjoy this, you know, and I'm grateful they allowed me to speak here, share my experience, strength, and hope with recovery here. You know, I've been to a few meetings where I heard a drug-a-log and felt like getting high. You know, if I don't tell somebody I feel like getting high, I'm liable to get high. You know, if I don't tell somebody I feel like choking the shit out of somebody, I'm liable to choke the shit out of somebody. Today is not about that. It's about recovering, acting. Narcotics Anonymous taught me how to act human. You know, through acting human and working the steps and applying the steps in my life. Working the steps is great, you know, but until I learned how to apply the steps in my life, I couldn't deal with them. I was not acting human. I was just acting human. Today, I become human. You know, the steps keep me from killing me. The traditions keep me from killing all y'all. Because I know for a fact, if we ran each up, well, maybe not all of it, because some of you is prettier than others. You know, and not you. But we would want to kill each other. You know, I don't go into you know, people say you can hang out in the barber shop and get a haircut. Well, freaking yeah. You know, I don't go into a cat house and listen to a piano player. You know, the people, and I'm going to mention this and I'm going to shut up. There's a lot of people that watch out for me when I can't watch out for myself. You know, I'm at this camp out that I go to every year, sitting around the campfire. Everybody knows that I don't use. And this one guy said, well, if you don't want to party with us, you can get the fuck, you can just leave. A friend of mine says, hey, he don't have to party. He don't party. If you want him to party, you can freaking leave. So I thanked him for it. Last year, they see me come out of one of the bars with a beer in my hand. A friend of mine, he's not in no fellowship. He says, George, were you back drinking once? I said, no, this is for so-and-so. He's getting a tattoo. He needs a drink. I don't make a habit of hanging out in bars. You know, I don't make a habit of hanging out in cat houses. You know, I don't even go in them no more. I don't even go in them no more. Remember that. I don't go in them no more. I said that because my fiancée right there gave me the little, yeah, I got it right. I'm with you. You know, what blows my mind, and this did not come from me. I met this woman about 7 years ago, right after my first, 8 years ago, right after my first demolition derby on a motorcycle. You know, I have to throw that in because I am a legend. I want to keep that legend going. You know, 4 years ago, it was like June 4 years ago. I asked her how much time she got, and she told me. I said, well, the reason I asked, I was going to ask you out. But I'm not going to. I'm going to wait until you grow a little bit, get to know who you are. You know, and I'm like, where'd that come from? That's not me. That's not me. A little bit over 3 years ago, I snuck her out to dinner. You know, we went to an NA function. Well, a friend of ours' anniversary, and they had dinner afterwards, or before his anniversary, I can't remember. And I took her meal ticket, or tab ticket, whatever it was called, and paid the bill because it made me feel good. Because I got to take her out. She didn't know it, but I got to take her out to dinner. We've been dating for a little bit over, not quite 3 years. And the reason it's lasted as long as it has is because I got out of the way. You know, somebody told me to be myself. And they said, oh, never mind, don't be yourself. You know, because like Rob says, I can be a purebred asshole. You know, and somebody told me the other day, and I heard this mentioned the other night, but I was explaining different. I don't have a filter between here and here. You know, sometimes it comes in here and goes out here without being filtered. Most of the time. All the time. I'm learning how to have that filter to where I'm not stepping on toes or hurting feelings on purpose or even accidentally. So I don't have to make the 10th step all the time. Because if I don't make a 10th step, which talks about when we were wrong, promptly admit it might take a week before I realize I was wrong. You know, but that way I don't have to put them back on another 4th and 5th step when I go through them again. I can make that amends. I can tell them I was wrong. I apologize. And I use the excuse, I'm only human. That's bullshit. I'm living dirty when I'm doing shit like that. I'm staying clean but living dirty. And I found out for me that staying clean is a whole lot easier when you're living clean. And the only way I can live clean, and somebody told me this, to change the thinking process. How do we change the thinking process? He said, well, you can't think your way into a better way of living. I have to live my way into a good way of thinking. Well, how do I learn how to live? Y'all teach me. I had to be taught how to eat proper, how to drive without running people over, or vehicles over that don't do the speed limit or do the speed limit. How to be patient with people. That's one of my things that I'm still working on is patience. I'm learning a lot of patience. Last night, I had a beautiful night last night, or yesterday evening before the speaker meeting. I come in here and I don't remember no names, but she had her baby. And I took the baby and I'm like, okay, this is cool. People trust me to hold their babies today without giving them a cigarette or a cup of coffee, or a tattoo. I know, and I made a mistake. Well, a learning experience. There's no mistakes in Narcotics Anonymous. It's all learning experiences. Last year, my fiance's grandson's birthday is the same day as her anniversary. So I went out and bought him a mini bike. Going to give him to her for her birthday. And she would not let me, and her mother would not let me. He said, well, he's only 2. I'm like, okay. I did not know that you can't ride a motorcycle at 2 years old. And then I'm telling people, so I took the bike out and I traded it for a tattoo. They said, I hope you didn't tattoo him. I said, no, me. Yeah, it was just a little mini bike. Well, it was a real mini bike, 200 horsepower, or 200 cc's, not horsepower. I'm scared of 200 horsepower on 2 wheels. But it's cool. People teach me how to be human today. I'm being taught how to be a provider, how to be a boyfriend, how to be a father, how to be a husband. When I was a husband before, I thought, I learned from my dad. You go out and work up 10 jobs, you give the wife, I had to bite my tongue and that hurt, all the money. That's what I thought. You do what she says, today I'm individual. I don't want somebody tell me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. That's why I don't need drugs controlling my life today. I don't need the guards or the COs at the prisons controlling my life today. I want to be me. When I grow up, I want to be just like me. Because I'm okay with me today. I'm okay with most y'all, most all of yous, if I said that properly. And I was telling the guy on I know his name, but I don't know how to mention it, but the guy on it's not a tape recorder no more, it's a CD player, a recorder. That the only thing I don't like about speaking Sunday morning is because I don't get to take my old man nap before I go home. I need my old man nap because I'm getting old. I don't like my mind self says I'm 18 or 19 and 20. The body says I'm 70. Birth certificate says I'm 51, but I can deal with that. I think it was my birth certificate I looked at. It might have been somebody else's, I don't know. And for all you, no, not to be discriminating, I was going to say for all you young ladies out there, for everybody out there, including the guys, and you'll know who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about. Y'all have a happy and grateful Mother's Day. And with that, thank y'all a lot for listening, and I'll keep coming back. Thank you. Can I get there? Can I get there?
You're done, boy.